MnM might find themselves on a pretty clear roll again.
Villa can be a tricky one, though. It can be cruel mistress, can't it?
Oh yeah, it's a big, big, heavy map. There's a lot of space, a lot of tactics, and all of that plays into MnM.
A lot of crouch walking.
A lot of crouch
Even
walking.
more so.
Yep, it's a bit of a nightmare of a map, and I think that's the thing about it is, you know, I'm with the boys that are starting on defense. Yep. They've got to take 5 of these rounds, I think, for them to be
5?
Yeah. That's what I think it's going to take, because MnM on their defense, at least 5. MnM on their defense were exceptional, and this is a map that plays into that. It gives them more solidity on their defense, more space, and more ability to kind of confuse themselves into this very aggressive style.
So bans, exactly the same, except Capitao has been let through and Jackal has instead been taken out. Habana on Villa. I wouldn't say it's not uncommon. Like, we've seen it before. It's not like a new thing where we go, oh, what's this? What are they going to do with that? Yeah. This is a very kind of common ban nowadays. Teams like taking Habana away. Habana, we know, hard breach already. That's a reason why you ban her. She can do it at range. She really doesn't put herself at any risk. If you look at this map, the way it plays out, you're only limited to a Thermite. You have to go over and Thermite the wall. So you have to physically enter the room and put it on the wall. You have to put the charge on. But for Villa, pretty much every single room can be blown up from below.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Every place.
And we really didn't see much of that previously, but now with Jackal off the board, I'm hoping that actually explodes. Pulse picks and, you know, Valkyrie picks, C4s, the ability to kind of counter that mixed with Bucks, Sophia's.
Look at it. There's what? Top of red stairs, there's concrete. In towards the top of the east stairs, concrete as well. And that's about it.
That's it.
Well, maybe like a bit in towards the walk-in closet.
But that's it. There's so much here that they can crack open from underneath, and we've seen good Buck so far today. We've seen some good Buck ideas and impressions, and we've got to find a way to make that kind of playstyle stick because, as they said on the desk, make them uncomfortable. Push MnM out of their kind of positions when you're attacking them, and, you know, well, let's see if they can do some pretty clever stuff on their defense. Clash is the instant pickup there, and there is your fabled Yami Ella, however, probably with the Scorpion.
Disappointment, we could say.
To be fair, we don't know if it is the Scorpion.
Yeah, I knew it was. Just more disappointment. He's playing the shield. Why not the Titan Killer?
True. Holding it very aggressively. Gonna put the...
I don't like Yami.
As a person or as a...
I just don't like him.
Oh, well, that's a shame.
You're not playing Titan Killer.
I don't think he's going to lose sleep over that, if I'm honest.
Wow.
Tank. Aggressively.
Well, guess he's solo casting for the rest of the day.
Roaming the shield around Classical and catching the man on the window instantly gives away the game that he is there. Normally, when you see a Clash on this side, they're actually kind of playing the direct onto the point. They're playing the door, they're holding them on the balcony, but they've opted, they've swung for the rotate, they're trying to play and keep control of 9 in Classical with a bit of aggression, and there is that aggression, both sides taking a hammering, and Tank suffers about quarter of the health, but is more than capable and able to pull back. Nathan finds Reese over the shoulder, your smoke dropped via the shoulder of the Clash, and there is the charges going off. Clash is doing her best to hold on to this corridor, but it's not going well.
Clash holding on for dear life. She has taken very minimal damage and has wasted so much utility and is still being a pain for MnM. They can't really break through that. It's the wall that will not crumble. Whenever you have somebody playing behind them, being able to use that long angle and, again, that Clash, that walking mirror window that we kind of associate her with, can be that replacement if you need that hard information. Yami, inside a study, hasn't been droned out. Hayes is the only man in bomb sight. A nice peek around. That's it down and doesn't get the kill and gives himself away. 2v5, 1v5, Tank with the Clash. Not even close. Right off the rip, a flawless round on a Villa attack.
Wow, that is not a good omen for the boys right now. That is a worry that you've got to kind of live with. Shake that round off. That round didn't happen. Brush yourself off and pick yourself up. You're looking for 5 now because you do not want to repeat those kind of movements. MnM, otherwise exceptional as they were in the previous map, have come into this hot and they've come into this aggressive, even met with the Clash, found 2 bodies over the shoulder of that Clash on that narrow corridor, and they just couldn't seem to find a way to rebuff them.
Give credit to Sight, though. He just kept at it, didn't he? He never really felt pressured at all. He was just standing there, took everything that MnM had going for them. And this is where perhaps maybe Capitao would have been a nice pickup. He's available. He's a great operator. Sure, it's not a very strong map like Clubhouse, where we know he gets banned quite frequently from. But still, if you look at the Capitao and what he brings to the table, he can sanction off different crosses. If you look in towards the Vault, that can be a great area to try and get the fire in, get the Sea of Flames roaring. And even just the smokes, I think, is another great thing. And the thing about Capitao, his smokes, you have to worry about ADSs with those.
Yeah, and I think that's the kind of balance there, is obviously when we see new operators come into the game, Capitao's going to find himself in a bit more of a less aggressive thing, but we've got 3 months until that kind of happens. They've got time before Wamai is meeting Capitao, and you know, that's the thing about his ability right now, the ability to control space. You not only can be aggro with it, but you can just push them off. Hayes is bringing the Ella and is just trying to get into the right mindset there.
Just not moving.
Having a moment.
He's not moving.
Getting in the right mindset.
What's he doing? Ice Bucket Challenge to get him hyped up for it?
He's holding on to the Titan Killer, maybe, and just trying to get himself built up.
Yeah, I like him better than Yami, but he's still not...
Yeah, this might be a problem.
They've all stood still. Oh, it's the Mannequin Challenge.
Ah, I love those. It's
Remember that trend back in the day?
Where? I'm just really curious. What? There he goes!
Hey,
Hey.
Oh, no, hold on.
Oh, he stopped
It's
again.
musical statues now.
Maybe his keyboard's broken.
Oh, he's shuffling.
He can go... Oh, wait, he can't turn. It's the can't turn bug, I think.
I've never experienced that one.
Have you not experienced this?
No.
It was a bug where you just couldn't turn. I think that might be what's happened, or he's playing a really weird aggressive
If
strat.
he gets the kill, we give them the trophy.
Yeah, if he manages to find a body in this, it looks like they don't even need him. The boys are just going to keep playing this aggressively and find the opening too. There goes Nathan, who is a really big part of the push there. And there goes your kind of Roman flank control, which is a big worry when we know they've been playing that aggressive flank. Really, really great opening there. And this is what they wanted the Clash to do in the previous round.
Still, though, essentially a 4v3 because Hayes, at the moment, he can't really do anything. If he can't turn his mouse and it won't let him, then what's he supposed to do? Just line him up and knock him down, I suppose.
Everyone please stand directly in front of him.
Yeah, give him a free.
If you put him behind Vault Door, then he's got a great angle onto the main entrance with
he
the
can't
shotgun.
turn to face the Vault Door.
No, he doesn't need to. He just digs in at the usual default
just
block
there,
and just
and
holds
then-
it there
okay.
where Yami is now with the shotgun,
Tries
the
the light.
FO12.
Questionable.
And then just wide swings. Where else are you supposed to put him right now?
I still think they're fine, though.
Okay.
You look at it. They have the Clash. Still information being gathered. Nobody's putting pressure on Study. That means Vex can solo hold B pretty much. Nobody's really getting past him at this stage. MnM have they kind of dropped the diffuser in random places in hopes that somebody picks them up, which is very strange about them as a team.
It's one of those things where I guess it's the debate and the argument about who's going to bring this now, especially when you start to lose parts of your team and you kind of go, well, who's going to, who gets the captain's armband? Who's the one that's going to have to step in, tries to swing and offer cover for the Clash, who's buying time, and Vex finds 2 on the back, and well, now it's the 4 versus 1, but Vex screams through that round.
Same with the boys, even though we had a bit of a mishap with Hayes. Vex, he's turned up, he's here, he's ready to play, ready to rock and roll. But Hayes did DC, so we're going to go to a quick technical pause.
Yeah.
So we can try and reflect on ourselves.
Right? I mean, you got to give credit to Vex there because he was one of those players in the previous map where he couldn't quite find his way in. And we've already kind of talked about the capabilities that he has as a player, but this is him starting to kind of illuminate. This is him finding 3, 4 bodies and being able to keep dropping them because the map allows him the freedom. And the lack of the Jackal is going to give him even more kind of safety. Yes, they weren't really playing it in the previous map, but having that kind of blanket of safety of going, I can kind of play this and they've got to find me. They can't just track me like that. It just allows a player of that caliber to be a lot more freewheeling.
I like the Clash. I really do. I think it's a great operator to bring whenever you are lacking information. Mira, Echo being those 2 big sources. Of course, we know Echo has a drone, which, you look at drones, they're everything in Rainbow Six Siege on the attack or the defense, no matter what it is. Cameras, Valkyrie, Maestro, we know are also big operators. Mira, though, even though her gadget isn't electronic by any means, it still gives you information. And it's not like, it's hard, clear information. It's not sitting on a drone where you think, oh, maybe there's somebody there. You'll see the person looking at your Mira window, which I think is, again, another reason why Mira gets banned so frequently, because she gives that information to so many teams.
Yeah, obviously, as we said, we see on the screen now, we're just having this quick tech pause as we get all of these issues ironed out. It's the joy of video games. But what I really love in that previous round was the I'm with the boys response. Because in the first round, they were dormant. They were kind of placid. Everything kind of fell straight against them. Yes, Tank Ninja's held on to that shield with all of his might and his muster, and it just couldn't quite make its way round. This time held it even more aggressive. They had the bodies there ready to swing over the shoulders and get the kills. They weren't backing down. They leant into the aggression, and it worked so well for them. And that's what we've wanted to see from them all of this time. We've wanted to see them be a little bit more coordinated with that aggression, bring themselves that balance, learn what is going on in the game, and find a way to tear apart MnM early.
So,
that's a nice shot.
That's a nice keyboard, just RGB.
Whose hand is that?
Oh, let's play Guess the Hand. Who is it? Who is it? Oh, it's Hayes.
Oh, I guess his...
The man of the minute.
They're working out how to fix it. Yeah.
Just restarting, I'm guessing. Just getting there.
Yeah.
Oh, Arkuff, he's already given up as a coach. He's now sitting down.
Lazy, really.
Very lazy. Yeah, we nod to the camera. I wonder if they can hear us. Whenever I speak to players, they generally can hear us.
No, they've got white noise in their ears, which is better than, I think, hearing us.
Sometimes. Is it?
I don't know.
Would you rather have white noise being drowned into your ears or us? Who am I kidding? You'd rather have the white noise. Who am I kidding?
I don't know what game you're
playing. I don't
think
anybody would want that.
Either way, I haven't actually checked any of the polls. Assuming we're running polls for this today, or
I'm
just
guessing.
Tweeting aggressively.
Get it up. Get it checked.
Good old hashtag.
Unless we have it handy, production. Do we have it handy?
Throw hashtag ESL Prem up into my eyes and kind of see what the prediction is. Because as we've said on how this game was going, this was one where it was going to be back and forth between these teams. And from these first two rounds on Villa, we've already kind of seen that is going to be this map. And this is a close one that can find its way back around as we go in. And I think it's a similar thing for everyone who's watching, is this is the one where it could really go either way.
Still though, for MnM, if they can take free attacks, that should be it done. In my eyes, it is. If I'm with the boys have 4 on the defense, potential, perhaps, to maybe an overtime. We could stretch that far. But you said you're thinking 5-1. You're very adamant about that.
I know. I just think that they need to, because if they don't find the heat that they can be capable of, MnM are so good at just working as a unit, using the time that they've got. They need a bit of aggression.
And if we do get to overtime, MnM, they get the defense half.
Yeah.
And that is huge for Villa.
Yeah, Villa is, as defender-sided as they come statistically.
Impact tracking, I think, is a big thing for that, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're good at it. They've already demonstrated that they kind of have that capabilities. And, I guess we'll have to see how it kind of all comes together. Either way, we're going to see the second point for the first time on Villa, heading over to Trophy to surprise nobody.
Not a lot of barbed wire being brought by I'm with the boys. Instead, C4s is what they're opting for. Perhaps they are using the Legion kind of like barbed wire to kind of give them that safety factor if somebody just can't walk in. Exact same thing. If someone tries to walk through barbed wire, you hear the rustle. Goo-mine goes off, you hear the goo-mine. Yeah, same principle. So if they want to try and play below the C4s, they have the Valkyrie. I'm assuming they're trying to lure in MnM to go for the triple wall, have the Thermite there, and then a simple C4, which we've discussed. Everything's destructible.
That's it. And that's the great thing about this, because you also look at those integral walls to get yourself onto point, and hard destruction, well, sometimes it missed the mark in the previous map on Clubhouse, and it seems like both teams aren't really leaning into it as much because you don't really have to, but they are still walls, they are still worth keeping your attention on, and they are still worth prepping occasionally on how you want to go against it, and they're all very much easily countered from underneath if you are left uncontested.
Packbull has the IQ, and this is a great time where they can bring this operator. We've seen him being picked throughout. Clubhouse really didn't have any effect on a heavy C4 map. Makes a ton of sense to try and neutralize those Valkyrie cameras as much as you can. And here comes the Maverick drilling holes in towards only one side, not going for the other two. And Tank, he's aware of that. Packbull had the LMG, and here comes a quick couple of trades, and it's a 3-on-3. Hayes, Tank, and Yami. They have to try and hold it down. They've lost the C4 from Reese, but if Yami can still play below, and if they can feed that man information, who's to say that Nitro Cell couldn't be the make or break of this round?
Well, I like that Tank has prepped himself, the ability to swing around, drops the Claymore and does not hide that fact, which is just going to keep the pressure hot inside that master bedroom side. Tank as well is ready to swing corners if need be, with Yami not too far away. And well, Hayes is waiting for the man on the close window too. Playing underneath, and now has the ability to turn corners, which doesn't quite work. Dropped by Dats on the balcony, and the C4 doesn't quite catch the man. Zofia is on a flicker of health, but the 3-2 body count could be monumental. However, one of those two is Legion, and well, you are not in the best shape, Zofia.
Clutchable, since Zofia is in such low HP. Agumai could send her into an early grave. Tank tries to make the play, but Nathan primed and ready. 1v3 Yami has to make this happen, and a great shot from Nathan puts that to rest. MnM 2-1 now, they respond, and a great response at it.
2-1, and well, last time we saw them take a point the second time, it was a very, very good response from I'm with the boys. There was a man down throughout that game as well. Maybe that's the missing trick, just to have a man be stuck in the vortex, and maybe you can kind of fool your way around. But there's still a lot left to do for them, and they're a team that are capable of doing it, finding the response to kind of what fell apart there. And they're opting for the C4s. They've still got the information from the Legion, but this time they've bought the Maestro.
So it's going to be, again, another trophy. Maestro on this bomb site. I like the benefit of having a nice LMG sitting in the back, just holding it down. We've seen already what he can do at range. Has the ACOG, great gun, everything to go with it. Maestro turrets, though, I wouldn't say they have the greatest time on this map specifically. There's no real power play position that is really difficult for teams to get rid of. The only thing I'm thinking of is that you put it inside of Astronomy. And that covers a door.
That's the thing.
So
if you put it in Astro...
And they put the other one there in B, or in A, should I say, so it looks in towards A door. So they're only covering doorways.
That's the thing about it. The Astro one, in a weird way, if you're holding that as well with the
deployable shield, perhaps, as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nice combo.
Swing round, and that's a combo. And other than that, there's not a huge amount of locations to set yourself up. The way we see these teams like to set Maestro, and they're kind of default standard aggressive comp ways of playing a Maestro, you need a little bit of solidity and a little bit of time, and then you can sometimes become absolutely indestructible.
You could try and argue and say, oh, you could try and put some sneaky cameras in towards like bedroom, and perhaps that could be difficult for MnM to deal with. They have to use some utility. MnM have a 100% pick rate of a Maverick so far.
Yeah.
That's not an issue for Maverick. Just go over. Generally, we see a Maestro turret. If there's one in bedroom, they jump up in the bed and put it on the bed wall. What's stop Maverick just hopping up, low torch it, gone.
Yeah, it's, you know, those kind of tricks don't work against a team like MnM because, as we said, what MnM are really...
Shouldn't really work against anybody.
It shouldn't, but what MnM are really, really good at is everything is thought out.
They take their time.
Yeah, everything is a bit slow paced. They let themselves set up and they let themselves get the cover, and this is when I'm with the boys do best, when they take that apart early. Yami finding the opener against Pac-Bull. Again, IQ not having the best of days in these matchups so far, but, well, let's see if they can find a bit of a revenge frag, as Hayes is going to double down and try and offer the Legion some support. This
is better, though, from I'm with the boys, because they are doubling up. Hayes not really taking the jump to assist Yami, and it's cost Yami his life. So yes, Hayes is trying to get aggressive, trying to get in there and help Yami, but the position he's in doesn't really help them. Nathan had Crutch walked into sight. Hayes just walked in and said, what are you doing in my house? Get out. And now there's still half the round to go in a 3-on-3.
Well, with a minute 20 on the board, there's plenty of time for the attackers to come up with a new strategy. And, well, they might not know it, but all the bodies are currently on point, and they're all aiming a very big selection of guns towards you. No more ferocious than maybe that LMG at this kind of play space and this kind of range.
416 could hit pretty hard as well. We know that it is still one of the best defender weapons, if not one of the best that we have, and there goes the LMG, fires on through. Dat just walks into death, and Drac and Junker have to try and do something. Vexed holding on to his long angles, and now Drac, down to a measly 30 HP or so, has to make a move, has to make the play, and I'm with the boys, they lock it out. Easy again, 2-2 now it goes, back and forth.
Well, they have a little bit more option towards their point choice here, and that's the thing. Their responses have been brilliant. But we're going to start to see the third trip to points. We're going to start to see if MnM can find the response to the response and kind of keep this back and forth going, because, as we said, this is a defender-sided map. You're expected to win your defenses on this, and when you don't, and when that kind of balance shifts badly to when you swap over, things can become very worrisome. AVG is where we're going to head back to. Vex, top of the board, top of the body count right now, which is a massive, massive improvement on how he was playing in the previous.
AVG is where we head next already. I've seen this twice. 50-50 for both teams. They've won it once and lost it once. Here comes the clash once more. I really like this pickup for this bomb site specifically. We didn't see it being chosen in towards the trophy statuary, because I feel as if Clash in that aspect doesn't really give a lot compared to the massive 90 corridor that is so long, where you really get your value out of Clash. You can gain that information at a distance rather than being up close and personal. Clash is still a really slow operator. A free speed could easily walk in, get the knife, get the kill. That's it, gone. Waste of an operator. But whenever you do spread yourself out in towards 90, you'll be able to tell which way they're coming from.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think what I'm curious about to see from MnM is if they change up their method of attack. Because first time round, Master Bedroom across, good. Second time round, Master Bedroom across, did not work. Third time round, as you've just pointed out, there's a man on Capitao.
Good pickup. Whenever they know that they're fearing the clash, which has been frequent in this bomb site so far, it will be great to try and sanction off that clash. Create that sea of flames in behind her means she has nowhere to go. Whenever those Sophia stuns come in, she can't retreat back to site if there is a massive flame wall up against her. Vex, he's going to have to go big this round. If he loses this opening engagement and gives MnM that man advantage, I'm of the boys have looked really weak without him.
Well, they're going for their tried and tested, and sometimes successful and sometimes not clear from this northeasterly side. And then they're going to steadily try and make their way across. They were instantly aware of the man, which was Vex, playing on Astro Stairs, and he's quickly rotated around to landing side, and it's going to hold it a little bit closer to point for now, but always has the capability of rotation. Jonker is going to be the nightmare that might strike later with those charges, depending on where they're put, because this is a map where, yes, it's big and yes, it plays into roaming and the defenders, but there's only a few staircases, only a few choke points, and if you're always paying attention, well, you can very much make it uncomfortable for the Jaeger.
MnM have a suspicion that there's a Jaeger lurking in towards red, and, well, that's correct. Tank has took a hefty amount of damage, so he has to be careful. Sophia stun as well, so Vex runs straight into the clutches of Jonker, who was lurking. That is a great roam player. That's what you want. That's what you expect.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Found him in his first hiding place and cornered him on his second from above and below, and there was nowhere left for Jaeger to go. Clash, in the meantime, is trying to play the corridor. They're hitting stuns, but nothing is working.
Impact him.
And it's just the lightest touch is what is going to take care of this man right now. And maybe they don't know it, has it in pocket, but is worried about the swing round, and there it is. Zafir suffers a fate. Reese, who's otherwise been a little bit quiet this time round, finds one, and Hayes finds another, but Drek gets the trade, and they are pushing straight through onto point. There's the man in the corner, pops around the rotation. Suddenly, a 3 versus 1 tank zaps a man to death. And everyone's low health, but Nomad is in a tough situation.
Here comes Clash. Junket can't really touch her. No air jabs available. And this is just constant information being fed out. The quick peek up, and Reese fires through with his trusted SMG-11. MnM really struggling with the lack of a Thermite, I feel. Allowing that bar wall to be soft, or be reinforced to say, not be open, not being allowed them to push on in and create that pressure for players like Reese, really hurting them.
Yeah, and
I wonder if they're going to go for the switch and try and go for like a study take.
Well, that's
we're not going to get that far, are we?
No, that's it. And I was one of the things I kind of wanted to see. Yes, they changed up the operator lineup. They bought Capitao, and they're still bringing him. They're still keeping that on the roster for now. But they didn't change up anything else that they were doing. And yeah, if your clear is fantastic and you're a very good team, as we see from teams like Empire, where they will run the same thing over and over and over again, they're hard to stop. However, if a team is already finding flaws and they've already taken a round off you pretty well, try and change it up a bit. Keep their team guessing, because you can use your teamwork and your coordination against a team with a stand-in more effectively than they can. They're actually, obviously, now they're forced to go downstairs to a point. If they... I know I said they got to get 5 rounds. I know I said that. But if they take this and put themselves on a roll of 3, including the off point, you know, they might be doing okay.
Pulse on this bomb site may think, oh, but why go for this, operator? It's not an upstairs bomb site. What's the point? There is still a multitude of ways Pulse can be useful. On-site information is key whenever they're trying to hold upstairs. You're telling me this man couldn't be vital in allowing the roamers from exactly where they're looking out for. Pulse able to relay that information saying, oh, one's pushing you now. Not only that, still, destructibility from below. If the attackers are trying to push in towards bedroom, watch stop Hayes, C4 in them from there.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that we're kind of seeing here is we're seeing a lot of flat play. We're not seeing a huge amount of verticality bought so far. Yeah, they're roaming underneath, but that's not what we're...
No sledge, no buck.
No sledge, no buck, no real C4s being thrown out. And there was more of that aggressive verticality in Clubhouse
there was, yeah,
than in Villa so far. So we know these teams are capable of it. And Hayes with the double C4, we ask! And he delivers!
That was perfectly played by him, and that has almost shattered the dreams of MnM in this round. So it looks to be they're on set for their 4-2 split. Oh, the jump out from Legion just stabs him, just shanks up, saying, give me your money. And away he goes back into the sewers, can impact his way back in as well. And oh my, I'm of the boys. There's that ranked fashion they talked about.
That was exceptional, and this is what we wanted. The aggression. Shut them down before they even begin to do that MnM slow roll. The pace MnM bring is in a way predictable. It's slow-paced, it's methodical, and it's brilliant when they allowed the time to make it work. You are a really good set of gunners, I'm with the boys, and you have the ability to play those kind of plays, and when you do, these are the results you get.
Soft breach being brought by that Nomad as the breach charges. Of course, the lack of the buck or the sledge is kind of hurting them here, but who's to say the buck and sledge would have survived the onslaught at the beginning? Really, for MnM, they just can't really do much. At this stage, how are they supposed to pull this back? It's going to have to be a throw from I'm of the boys. And whenever I say throw, that's them peeking one by one. You don't want to do that. You want to double down, get your crossfires, get your angles, something MnM were great at in Clubhouse. Follow through.
Well, Jonker's trying to come up with a strategy here and trying to find some bodies below. The amount of breach charges obviously shows that they're attempting to hit this verticality, but you know they've got a Pulse, you know they've got a Legion now, and you know they've got a Valkyrie. So they're probably well aware of where you are and what you're trying if you're not giving the game away from your own destruction. There is Hayes. Doesn't quite find the man there and swings in. It's now a 3 versus 1, and Dats is in a very hot part of this kitchen, and there's bodies on every side.
I'm with the boys, a 4-2 split. Expected a Villa. You said 5-1.
Yeah.
What you wanted. How do you feel now?
Okay, I feel slightly better for I'm with the boys because they're bringing the play style that we want them to bring. If they can continue this aggression, if they can continue allowing themselves to be this coordinated in how they're shutting stuff down, it's working really, really well. This was the problem we saw on their attacks. They weren't covering. They weren't bringing themselves that semblance of balance. Immediately on Villa, they're doubling up with Clash and someone else, and someone else and someone else. They're really coordinating their gunplay, and it's working well. If they can translate it now with the momentum swing of having 3 rounds in a row on a split and an MnM that are looking more and more tired and haggard as we go further on, they could be in with a good shout of pushing us to the 3rd map.
There's another Titan killer. I used to enjoy being like the only one who would like reference this because it was so niche. We have seen such an uprise all of a sudden in this gun.
You kind of noticed it and pointed it out so much that they've nerfed it.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that should have just been the demo nerf.
Just me.
Yeah, just put it in the playlist as the demo nerf. If Bikini gets the boss GA cog,
yep,
you get to claim the Ella shotgun nerf.
Still crazy that that's happened, isn't it?
Can you imagine?
give Jaeger back his ACOG.
Who would have thought?
Anywho, actually a surprising use there of the Titan Killer is he's using it to make vertical holes in towards the quad wall and study. So again, putting that kind of fear factor into the boys. They are bringing the Thermite, which is something that MnM had no interest in bringing at all. And if you're a Thermite and you look, okay, go open the wall, and you're standing there with your Thermite charge, and you see the entire floor open, you're saying, no way, not a chance am I doing that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an uh-oh moment, really. You kind of realize, uh-oh. And then you get shot not long after. And I guess we'll see if MnM can bring some of this verticality that, as we said, we were missing a little bit. Jonker is deep underneath the roaming Jaeger, is no surprise. They're playing slightly aggressively on this landing, as Dat's just going to spray the MPX through as many walls as possible. A pea shooter, but a headshot is a headshot, and it's trying to make them mark. Here is a very aggressive hold with this FO12.
I would like them to be closer. I really want him in their face.
Right,
face checking, as you also deem it. I would like to see that happen. You have the shotgun, for goodness sake. It's a beast of a gun. That plant
just blew up.
Just goes, no. Not today.
Safety plant as Yami finds Dats, and that is Backball getting out of there as fast as he can. Drak is covering underneath, and the Doctor is in, luckily, for Pac, who can Ella up and get herself back towards an aggressive stance. Kaid is going to hold onto the wall, but this is the one where it seems like they want to make their entrance, trying to hit the toesies of Vex, and manages to get the IQ to half health, but here comes the wall. Kaid might not have caught it and hasn't. This is a very, very big hold to have in your hold, as now they have a clear entrance via gun and are just going to have to try and steadily close down against it with the man rotating underneath too. Well, it's looking good for the boys.
Yeah, that wall being opened up is essentially split the MnM defense in half. You have one side in towards the B and one in towards the A. Tank tries to fire through. Hayes does eliminate Pac-Bow, but then there's Drak. Has a Stormbreaker. That sniper shotgun fires on through, and still frying with the boys. Even though it looked good, they're starting to stumble. They're tripping over themselves.
I guess they didn't quite get themselves set up in a position to exploit what they had managed to do so quickly and brilliantly, and now they're a bit concerned about the rotation coming from underneath. We've already talked about the Jaeger and where he likes to play, but there was a quick move, very quickly shut down. And now I'm with the boys with the body down, and it's a 3 versus 2 with only 20 seconds on the board. They've got to try and throw themselves through the guns of MnM at this point. They have no other real options. Tank is going to creep in via gun, gives the game away, hops on the table to try and find the kill, but they don't have to swing this. Jonker does anyway, and there is almost the second from Drak.
I'm feeling a weekly Prem vibe coming in right now, where it's just I'm with the boys, looks so impressive, and then it just goes meh.
It's a sad habit,
yes.
Unfortunately. Everything was so good. The aggression was there. The momentum was there. They were so quick to get that first kill on landing, push the Ella off of the 90 classical corner, and then get the wall open. And then it just stopped.
Yeah, it's just getting to the stage where I'm starting to pull my hair again, Fluck, and we don't want that, do we? Yeah. I'm going to end up like Tim.
No, that's not a bad way to go.
All right. The man went bald at 22.
Wow. Why you got expose the man like that?
He told me.
Oh, okay.
And then he says, I can already see it starting to happen with you, damn it. I'm saying, what are you talking about? I'm not going bald.
You know, now he's got a point.
I do not have a receding hairline.
Dining room and kitchen is where we head to next. Not going to take trophy as the next point. Instead, going to opt for what is often the third point on rotation.
No living room?
No.
Living room really bad. You know I don't like that.
The only teams I ever see take living room are French teams. No other team in this region consistently.
Latam do it.
In this region.
Oh, in this region?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah.
In this region. No other team in this region consistently take it. But yeah, you're right. Latam do. They play it.
NA don't touch it with it.
No, NA do not. They hate.
NA don't really play Villa. Don't really want with their maps.
Yeah, to be fair, I always used to think Consulate wasn't a huge map for them outside of the standard yellow push stuff, but they've...
I think like Coastline Consulate Clubhouse, there's your free for NA.
Yeah, it's a fair shout. I mean, Villa, it's so European. And I don't just mean the building itself, the play styles it kind of makes more kind of prominent, and it plays to a lot of the team's kind of aggressive flex style or their slow build style. Every EU team can be a great Villa team.
Yeah. It's not that difficult to play if you look at some of the defense. Defenses kind of force you, I think, to play in one certain motion. You have to try and impact trick a wall. You have to try and, bandit trick this. You have to have your smoke in this position. There's not a whole lot of breathing room because it is a very congested bomb sites. They're very close together. Very small rooms.
Well, put Haze on an Ash and he's found the opening frag. Packball goes down. He is a usually exceptional player, but there's IQ suffering an alibi, and well, that's always a little bit of a worry. IQ to get taken. Nathan finds Yami in the meantime, brings a bit of a balance back to the favor of MnM, and now it's just seeing if IQ can slowly push forward, and there they are! Alibis do not crouch, and Legion just charges through, and Haze gets the cover, saves the man, but there was 3 of them there. Haze is able to get it, but you're a bit curious as to what the play was there.
Just had to try and get something back, try and give his team just another opening. Junker does pull one back, but still, it's a 2v3. Dats has the C4 in hand, and a very strong position in towards Mudroom. He can control this staircase as easy as pie. He can sit there, he can try and find somebody. Maybe unsuspecting that there's going to be a pulse lurking in that position. None of them in the bomb site. They've all tried to rotate away and catch them by surprise in towards the staircases. Tank has rotated towards Laundry, default opening up in towards the breach, and that does give them their entryway to get that diffused down. There's still 2 people there fumbling around upstairs, looking for those angles, looking for the holes. I don't know, this could easily go either way. Very, very up in the air at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, and as we said, I'm with the boys have an often horrible habit of throwing away leads, and now it's back to a semblance of balance. Jonker finds another body. Mozzie, such an exceptional operator for generally any situation. Dats just kills the man there as well. And, it's just all kind of falling apart for I'm with the boys. Pushes aggressively, and things aren't falling in their favor. 10 seconds, it's a 1 versus 2, but it does not matter as Jonker finds yet another body.
Can the admins just make sure that their headsets are working and they are talking to each other? Because it doesn't look like that. Why are they not coordinating with each other? 2 of them are still upstairs. 1 of them's opened up the breach by himself. He's tried to solo plan with nobody covering, and they are paying for it.
Yeah, it's those... I keep calling them little mistakes, but these are getting slightly bigger and slightly more worrisome and slightly more repetitive. These are mistakes where it does boil down to communication. You've got to be aware of what's going on because we've said it before, MnM's strongest suit is communication. It's balance. It's knowing where each other are and working on these strategies. And yeah, the way to kind of break that is to take advantage of them early, get them off the board early, find these kind of interesting holds, and be quick, aggressive, and decisive. If you give them time to work out where stuff's going on, MnM sometimes they're like Legion. The longer they're alive, the more powerful they become. And you're just allowing them to keep doing that whilst you go for these split pushes but aren't communicating that well that late on in the game. It just ends up, well, ending like this. Heading now back upstairs to Trophy. Again, this is a more common sight to see from these kind of teams. And, well, Vex is still putting up numbers, but he's going to have to do more than that if they can find a way through MnM and allow themselves onto the 3rd map.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Trophy Statuary, we know, another very strong defender-sided impact tricking. I think it's a big cause for that. A lot of guys really want impact tricking gone out of this game.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of pros don't like that.
I mean, a lot of pros...
I get it.
Yeah, I get it. A lot of pros want a lot of things with the game, though, and I think that's fair because they're the ones that know the most about the kind of balance and stuff. But then we've also got to kind of look at where the game's going in terms of total operator counts and abilities and stuff like that, and potentially adding new utilities and... there's a lot in. I know the recent conversation has been about adding more bans for operators at the beginning of a map.
I think we need to try and break, 60 before I think that really starts to come into play. And whenever we do get more operators who are essential operators, you look at hard breachers in particular. If there is going to be another hard breacher added, that's whenever I think they make the jump.
Yeah. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff where, yeah, impact tricking, it's very powerful, very effective, and, well, MnM have put themselves in a very good position here. Dats is holding down on this side, but there's 3 bodies trying to close down, and it only takes 1. Hayes, who has been pretty exceptional so far. Junker has found a way back round, and is just going to kind of creep and wait for the pressure here, but it seems like I'm with the boys. They're droning ahead. They're getting some cover. Almost misdroned there. Junker gives the game away, drops it, and is now going to try and hold in inside the gun vault.
Junker just needs to take time, and he tries to get the kills on the table, but doesn't happen. And Drac, what a play from the young man. That's the kind of plays that define a great team. Being able to realize we need to try and get this kill back. We need to have the refrag. I'm of the boys. They don't have that. MnM, they have all of it.
Yeah, and now he's able to head back to point with a minute on. It's a Smoke and a Maestro is the last 2 you've got to get through. And yeah, you've got some utility left in the pockets of Yami and Hayes, but it's making it work against some very, very big operators. Takes out another plant. It seems like MnM not big fans of the foliage either, but it's seeing if they can just hold on in this remaining 40 seconds.
And Drac right now is in such a clinical position. He can hold down the A door, he can hold down the B door. Packbull, he will first start to use those toxic babes, try and create a bit of breathing room, of course, for the defenders, not so much for the attackers, but still it gives them that access to kind of sit back, and they both pushed in towards B. Packbull now, he's in a perfect position. We tried to see the jump down from Hayes. He's been down by the toxic babes, and there's the cleanup. Drac and Packbull holding down the fort. I'm with the boys. Oh, it's like a really bad movie. Just keeps getting worse.
Well, let's see if the roll continues as we head, I assume, back to AVG. It was the first of 3 in a row for the side of MnM, and obviously it's been very good. As you said and pointed out, they're aggressively responding. They're there to pick up trades and refrags. They're working on that very precious cost stat and the ability to find a way to just keep that aggression against the attackers. Keep I'm with the boys on a bit of a back foot. That is from communication. Purely, solely, that is what that does for a team.
AVG, we've went the full rotation, and what's to stop MnM just taking another 2 rounds? What's to stop them? Themselves? I don't think I'm with the boys are stopping them. Has to be MnM and how they throw.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about it is, you know, the way it's all kind of falling together at this point. MnM are looking more and more confident and comfortable, and they're responding so well to what is going on. And it's just, you know, it's kind of a tough situation for I'm with the boys. Because as we said, they're so good at the beginning of a round. The opening 30 to a minute is always good.
Yeah.
And then it just falls apart.
Everything just looks so good.
5 seconds
And
left before insertion.
I don't know, MnM, it just has to come down to themselves. That's all it is how well they can persevere and just make sure they can keep going, keep the momentum moving. But hey, we've seen throws before. Some of the best teams in the world, they threw. It happens to the best of us. MnM just make sure they don't need to fall into that bracket.
Well, they're on the back foot now, the boys. And to be fair, that's how the day started for them. And how this Villa day started for them too. MnM took the first round, and then they managed to find themselves back on the swing. They were on defense, but that doesn't change the fact they took 3 rounds in a row pretty well. They can do it again if they can just find some of that solidity that really drove them through that selection of rounds. Being quick, decisive, and aggressive, as is the standard, but we've already complimented this side of their play. This isn't where they need to change. It's the latter half of where things start to become a bit of a problem. Hitting the man on landing fast and aggressive. Vex is the one that's picked up the Mantle of Ash now, and they've taken off the player of Hayes, who's going to try and lob the frag grenade over. Cooks it, swings it, but no dice.
Lack of drones is really concerning, and they almost did pay dividend for that. Vex has taken a hefty amount of damage, but did get the trade-off onto Packbull, but Hayes has been downed in the crossfire. So there's 3 players from I'm with the boys on such low HP that you have to be careful. They have to try and tiptoe around the bullets that I'm sure will be flying out from MnM. Junk is still in the roam game. He's below. He took a bit of damage, but still he's alive and well, and we know that Junker on this Jaeger, he can turn up at any moment and just be the deciding factor. No Nomad from I'm with the boys. Dats in such a power position, but Reese just drones him out. Reese drone came up behind him and showed Dats that they know he's there. Why did he do that? Why did he just let him walk up?
Maybe they wanted him to rotate to landing. Maybe they wanted to kind of set the bait, set the trap, and say, oh, we're going to close you down here. And he's like, oh, I'm going to go to landing, as he's done. And Tank is waiting. He's waiting at the top of the stairs. In the meantime, one of the very low health line with the boys has suffered on the far side. Yami has hit the floor.
So I like the attempt from MnM with the boys, sending someone to try and cause some pressure to the defenders inside of Study, not allowing them to have that massive area. And here comes a perfectly timed Thermite charge, along with some well-timed aggression. And that has shut down Drak, who we knew was massive in the last round. Junka now, he appears out of nowhere. Vex has been downed, and another one, Dats fires through. It's just Reese. Now it's just Reese and Nathan. He's on 1 HP and a dream against a very healthy Dark. This is gonna be tense. 15 seconds. Has to get the diffuser. No, you walked into the Electro Claw. Oh, Reese, you're in the meme video already. I can see it happen. Ah. Of course it would be Reese.
Of course.
Of course it would be Reese.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. No, what a way to go. The stage was set for the most epic.
I just seen it for a blink of the moment. I was like, he's gonna run into the wall, isn't he?
Oh, dearie, dearie, dear. 6-4.
That sums up their attacking half.
MnM, they now sit with a 2-round buffer. They're going to head to dining room next, and that makes sense over the other ground floor point. But if they lose this, they can still head to trophy, and if they lose that, well, then we're in OT.
You think they're going to get the OT after what we've just witnessed?
I mean,
Mr. Optimistic, as always.
I like to have hope. I think hope.
Not more of a realist.
Yeah. Well, let's see if they can pull something out here. The boys, they're getting closer. I think I'll give them that for sure. They're finding themselves in these situations. It was a 2 versus 1. The Thermite charge and the aggression.
That was nice.
That was really, really well played. And as you said before, the man on Study that drew some attention. They're really working at it. They're pulling stuff apart, pulling the defenders in different directions.
10 seconds.
But it's just not quite hitting the mark.
Too little, too late. If you've done this during the earlier rounds of your attacks, you could be in third man right now. That could happen. Could have easily have happened. But MnM, they're still going at it now. They get to go for the kitchen, which was kind of up in the air for MnM with the boys. A very questionable round. It looked as if it was going to be really solid for them. They had a 3v2 advantage. They had the breach open, but just no communication whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about it, is it's kind of when they do communicate and when they work, it's exceptional. But it's the consistency of that, and it's the consistency of kind of finding those trades and finding those moments. Dats underneath does catch the heartbeat there, and oh no. Oh no, there is a free kill, but Vex in the meantime at least finds Junka, and that's a big bit of information off the board in the hands of the Mods.
Another C4 gone as well. A very heavy C4 lineup from MnM. There's 3 of them they've brought to the table. Alibi also still being chosen, and Nathan, he has the MX4 Storm. Of course, we know a very, very potent SMG, and there's the C4, gets ripped, flies right out the window onto Yami's head. And I'm with the boys. This is looking grimmer by the second.
Well, now they're in a situation where they're going to try and hold in. They have all the time in the world to come up with a strategy. The game has barely started, and they're in a 4 versus 3, still with their hard destruction on the board, still with Vex on a great fragging roll, who he said has been very, very good on this Villa map, and now they've also got the Thatcher, so they have the capabilities to try and push through what has usually been not the main focus of the defense of MnM. They haven't played the hard walls, instead they've used the verticality that this map offers.
Tank creeping around, trying to cover up the flanks. Just wary that there could be another roamer, but MnM, very patient. They know they have the advantage. All of them are in bomb site, and whenever Dats is still alive, that's constant information being fed. MnM don't have to make any moves. It's the pressure round with the boys. They're the ones who have to try and muster something, try and find the courage to really take the gunfights, and Tank, he just walks over open holes and Pac will punish him for it. And that has to be it sewed up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of way that we've seen this game so far. MnM, they've set themselves up in a really good situation, and this is their warm-up. This is, in a way, their practice, because Na'Vi is potentially next. A team that they've beat, I think, is always worth pointing out and referencing, but also it's an asterisk. It's a team that they beat before that team went onto the grandest stage and won it.
MnM just holding firm, and they take a great sweep, 4-2 down. They win 7-4. I'm with the boys. Horrific attacking half from themselves, but still, MnM, expected outcome. 2-0, I'm with the boys. We know they just turned up. They came, they seen, they didn't conquer, but still, I'm sure they had a great time anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's a really, really good showing for them to kind of, be able to pull some rounds. They were growing, they were adapting, and they were getting better as time went on throughout that. But hey, now they get to relax, sit back, and join you guys in the crowd as we watch the next 2 games. But before we go into that, I think let's hear what some other people have to say about that. I believe we're going to visit the desk first, and then maybe the stage. Who knows where we're heading to?
No, we are going to the analyst desk.
Okay.
Des, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Start talking some stats. Give it to us.
Maybe Fluke wasn't quite sure where we'd be going here, but it is the desk. You're back with us here on the side with X and Ace. And boys, we saw quite a bit of improvement from with the boys there. Got to give it to them. Very fast, very decisive, moving with purpose. The word you used, Ollie, was explosive. We did see them step up and improve on the things that we thought they were doing wrong back on the first map.
Yeah, and it was what we wanted to see. We asked for disruption. We asked for them to do things differently, and they certainly brought that, especially on the defense.
Yeah, they really did. They weren't phased. It didn't get to them. They were 4-2 down. They understand the flow of Villa. They know that it's defender-sided and they're likely to come out behind there. Absolute great mental resilience from them to just say, right, reset. We're on the